part 3 of our 2-part Texas trip. So, we went to SeaWorld San Antonio. I had been there before in addition to Fiesta Texas. We had both been in, I believe, 2014, I believe. And
We've been to 3 SeaWorlds, right?
we've been to all of them.
Tampa, Texas, San Diego.
Orlando.
Oh, Orlando. Sorry, Busch
And
Gardens is in Tampa.
and technically we've been to the 4th SeaWorld
Jaga
because
Lake.
because we went to Six Flags Worlds of Adventure in 2002. So technically we were. We've been to 4 of them. I've not been to the Los Angeles one because it closed about 16 years before I was born.
That would be a good reason.
hmm So I had. It's not that I hated the park, it's that I hadn't had the best experience at that park. Like, Steel Eel is awesome, Great White is awesome. My problem was that they had closed Journey to Atlantis back then, so they could paint it on Memorial Day weekend, which I think is dumb. Why would you close a water ride in Texas on Memorial Day weekend?
I don't know.
Close it on January 1st or something. Close it when it's gonna snow.
Up
So
here.
anyway, well, yeah, the 4
Well, they
times.
did have snow down there this
Yeah, I
year,
guess
didn't
the
they?
4 times in Texas
A lot of
every
wind, a lot of rain, snow,
the four
tornadoes.
times every decade that it snows in Texas. Close it for that period of time, I guess.
Got to plan it quite well.
So, we had gone in. Um, the park, fortunately, all of the coasters were operating, which was good, and not a lot of crowds or not a lot of lines for the rides, which was, well, bad for them, good for us, I guess. I got to ride Journey to Atlantis. Something that's good and bad is that the queue lines don't have gates on them. They just kind of like meander like you're walking through a park. Not a theme park, like a picnic park or something. And so it's like, I hope I'm going the right way. In retrospect, I probably should have like hopped to another part of the queue line, but I didn't. So, oh well. I did get to ride it, but funny story we just had dinner, people. Sorry. Um, was that I decided to sit in row 2 because there was no one in line for row 2 or probably even 3. And there were like 3 people in line for row 1, so I was like, well, I won't be able to be in row 1 with these strangers. I'm going to sit in row 2. It doesn't matter to me, so I wrote it. Um, then going up the lift hill, I found out that the 3 girls, one of them had ridden it before. One of them makes Kay look like Evil Knievel.
Say what?
Yeah. You remember Dreamflight at Efteling? Or Arthur the Ride?
Mm-hmm.
Those rides are taller than what she is used to.
Okay.
She's not used, like, she's not used to anything more than, like, probably. She's not used to anything that goes, like, more than 4 feet above the ground. Like, Anti-Cars Train, River Rapids, Jungle Cruise, that's about it for her.
Carousel.
Yeah, maybe.
That probably goes above her limit. Okay.
But like Ferris wheels, no way. She's not gonna ride anything, and somehow they tricked her into getting on this. And the other one, she does like to ride rides, but she didn't know about the surprise at the top. So then I decided to kind of be a jerk and have a little fun. Like, oh, you didn't tell her. I was saying it to the girl that had never been on anything tall. It's like, oh, you didn't tell her about the part where it goes upside down. You didn't tell her about the tunnel. You didn't. You didn't
And she
tell
was
her.
getting a little nervous.
She was like, what? And I'm like, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. There's no. It does not go upside down. And I was like, did you at least tell her about the surprise? And then the other girl was like, wait, what surprise? And I was like, oh, you'll find out. And they were like, well, what surprise? And I was like, oh, the part where you go backwards. And she was like, what? So anyway,
Mm.
we were at the top about 95 feet above the ground. And Kay had given me this tip years ago back when Trailblazer was at Great America, where she said if you're scared, just like force yourself to laugh. So I told that to the girl that was terrified. I was like, don't scream, force yourself to laugh, because then your body will associate the ride with like fun and happiness. So we went backwards, and she was like,
I probably would have done the same.
well, you kind of cry. You were terrified uh on like Arthur at Europa Park, and that's not even 40 feet tall.
Well, I was on the end and swinging out, and
Everyone was on the end.
no, there were seats next to me because the lady kept staring
Oh,
at me
well, anyway.
because I
Um,
kept closing my eyes and I kept going.
so anyway, then it went back and it stopped, and then it spun. I thought it was just gonna do like a turn and then that's it. No, it like does like it turns
360
like
or 180.
360 plus 180, 540 maybe, or
Hmm.
450, somewhere around that. And then it turns, and then all she's seeing is this big drop into water. And I was like, yeah! Come on, laugh! And then we finally get in and.
Yeah, it made a very big splash. Your big guy was trying to take a picture of you, and this water splashed all over. I don't know how it turned
And
out,
I don't know how, because they're in the same city and they're like 10 miles away, but SeaWorld was significantly warmer than Fiesta, Texas.
but they said
I
that
don't
the
know how
day.
that works.
No, they said going through the day after 12 noon, it was going to be warmer, or 4 o'clock or something. The Weather Channel did.
So I was wondering if they had stood in like the splash area and they were like, no.
A lot of
So
people, they didn't have to stand at the bridge splash. They just stand on the side below, like the upper area where I
did
was.
you get a nice mist at least?
Yeah, there was once in a
Okay.
while. I mean, there was one that came down that whoa, that was huge. Your father, your big guy, sorry, he really got
How many
wet.
podcasts have we done?
Okay. Whatever, move on.
Just keep training for the Olympics.
Oh, yeah, right.
So
For the Sleep Olympics.
I thought you were doing the gymnastics or something.
Oh, no.
or
Ooh.
the
I have not done
or the
gymnastics
somersaults.
since high school. I did the balance
Anyway,
beam and I did a forward
anyway,
roll on the balance beam in high school.
anyway. So then afterwards, I was like, I did apologize to her. I said sorry for like freaking you out, and I said, hey, you know what the best part is? You guys probably live around here.
You could do it again.
She's gonna be pretty ticked at both of you. I'm leaving the state tomorrow. I'm probably never gonna see you guys again. Have fun. And then there were some people that, as we were getting going, exiting off, they were like, "We need to find a dry place to like. We need to find a place to dry off." And I was like, "Oh, a good place to dry off is right up there." And then they were like, "Really?" And then it just like, and then
A
another boat
boat.
did, and that was the splash zone area. And they're like, I
No.
was like, "Come on, dry yourself." I was like, "Come on, dry yourself over there." So then after that, then we did Texas Stingray, or I did Texas Stingray. You would have liked Texas Stingray.
Mm,
The
maybe.
ride is actually a pretty good GCI. You get airtime. You've got a tunnel. Um, got some good float, got some good air and everything. Um,
Oh, that's better.
uh, Again, this is a the queue lines are at SeaWorld are long, but because the park wasn't very crowded, or maybe it was, and it isn't anymore, and it wasn't anymore that day, you have like sections of the queue line that aren't closed off. So I didn't like cross over the track and then go back. I was like, well, I see people lining up in that queue line. So I was like, am I in the right spot? And they're like, yeah, sure, come on. I'm like, okay. Um, After that, so yeah, it's a pretty fun ride. It's a really good ride. Uh, got some airtime, some good elements. Then we went. Then while I did that, Kay and the big guy looked at turtles. Correct?
Mm-hmm. Turtles and fish.
Mm-hmm.
Huge aquarium,
Yeah, it was like one of
fish tank,
animal
whatever.
viewing
Yeah,
areas.
these turtles were huge,
You want to do it like this?
but in the water they looked bigger too.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, they were big.
So then Kay decides to spoil the surprise to the big guy.
Sorry, I didn't know that. Well, because this young lady, she was Korean, and she was talking, and I noticed that she had a little bit of accent. So,
And what it was that the big guy is a big fan of Korean food.
hmm
So I knew that they were doing the food festival.
yep. So she told me where it was.
Yeah.
You had to keep going this way, and then past Japan, and then there was Korea, and then there was Hawaii, Mexico. Yeah.
Yeah, the Japan one was kind of pathetic. It was like just one small stand in front of like an empty pond or an empty
I don't
pool.
even think anybody was in it, were they?
I don't, maybe not, but
Mm-mm.
it was kind of pathetic.
A lot of people were in line for the Korean, and then a lot of people in line for the Hawaii.
So I did a wave breaker, which was before the Korean booth. So I rode wave breaker. It's actually pretty fun. My only gripe is that yeah, it's supposed to be like a jet ski, so the handle is like the handle is like very
Not like you're holding a motorcycle or a jet
the
ski.
handle is like very far like this. And look, I've got long arms, okay? And I was like trying to like hold on, I was trying to hold on to it, and I couldn't hold on to it that long. So I just kind of took of it as a fun ride. It might be similar to Hagrid at Universal, obviously minus some effects and some stuff. I knew it was going to launch. I didn't know it was going to launch twice. And it's one of those things where it's like, it's smooth. K, you might have been okay with it. Except there's a section of the ride where it's like maybe 5 or 10 feet above water.
Hmm.
It's not at ground level. But it's very smooth, it's very fun. I like it more than Verbolten at Busch Gardens Williamsburg. I know they're different manufacturers, but I think I believe I got some float on Wavebreaker. I didn't on Verbolten, and that really kind of disappointed me. The last drop on Verbolten, it feels like you should get airtime because it's kind of like a steepish drop, but no.
Mm.
I don't know how that works, but they prevented it. So then the big guy got Korean. What did he get? Kalbi?
No, I think he got Calbee for you.
What did he get then?
Didn't he get a noodle dish or something?
No, I thought he got Kalbi.
No, he got Calbee for you, and you said it smelled too spicy.
No, I said it tasted spicy.
So then
And
he
then
ate that.
and then I said, "Here, Kay, smell it." And
It was
whew,
bibimbap or something. He got a
maybe.
noodle and vegetable dish, I think.
So then we kind of had to rush to to view the Sea Lion.
Mm-hmm.
No, what is Sea
Yeah.
Lion High show?
Yeah.
Sea Lion and Otter show. No,
Yeah, there was a small
the Sea
otter.
Lion show.
Yeah, there was a small otter there.
Okay, SeaWorld, I have a mild criticism now. I get that you I get that you guys are doing distancing. That's lovely, thumbs up. I get that every other row is blocked off. I get that. I thumbs up. But when you only run that show twice a day with half the
11 and
capacity,
3? Was it 11 and 3?
it might have been noon and 3.
Oh, okay.
But when you're doing it like that, you're essentially just running one show at full capacity.
Right. Well, we were lucky we found a bench. It was in the handicap area, but
So,
it was at the
SeaWorld,
top.
I think it would be better if you had a third show if you had
Well,
three
maybe when
shows.
they stay open later, they'll have 3 shows.
They were open until like 7 or 8.
Stop.
You had a
Stop.
hair that was up.
Okay.
But I would like to see you guys maybe have a third show and maybe bring back the pet show.
Yeah, because I think there was only 2 shows or maybe only that show.
There was
So
that.
it was very crowded.
There was that. I think there was the Orca Encounter. There might have been another. There might have been another show, and then there was the Sesame Street party show or something, or whatever that Elmo Rocks or whatever. I don't know. Some kind of show or some kind of Sesame Street show. So we saw that show in a. Let me just put it delicately, not the best of ways. With a little bit of drama, would you say?
Mm-hmm.
So then afterwards, we were like, well, let's get a picture. Um, Let me go to a stand and refill my water.
Mm-hmm.
Let me move the gate so I can be in front of in front of the background. And then I said, am I gonna get arrested for doing that? And the employee said, no, that's okay, that's okay.
We didn't know she was an employee.
I didn't see her, but I didn't see her. I was just asking, it's like, am I gonna go to jail? I had moved the gate so that way we could be in the background of the
entrance.
Yeah, the entrance with like the big killer whale and like acrylic glass.
And actually, when you said that, she's like, well, you guys could have gone in further. And we're like, no, that's okay.
You don't want to get arrested.
We got it.
Okay, I've complained a little bit about SeaWorld, so I'll end it with a nice thing. I had commented in like 2014, I'm pretty sure 2014, that it didn't really feel like a SeaWorld park because I had been to the Orlando one. And I would later go to the San Diego one. But what I had remembered about Orlando was that there was a ton of tropical of plants and trees. While when I was at SeaWorld last time, what I remembered was a lot of like pine and spruce and redwood and timbers. I didn't notice a lot of like tropical vegetation, and so that's why I was like, this feels kind of like a Cedar Fair park that SeaWorld bought.
But you remember Texas had a very bad winter.
No, I'm talking in 2014.
I know, but I mean, comparing.
So, going back, I don't know, maybe their bots are reading my Facebook posts or Facebook messages to people. I don't know. Or maybe I said it in a previous podcast and someone that we know in the mob just was like, hey, maybe we should change that. And
scooting way out in left field.
Oh, do you want to say who then?
No.
Okay, so
no.
Just say someone in the mob. So, one thing that I did notice this time was that there was a lot more tropical vegetation around the park. It no longer felt like a Cedar Fair park that SeaWorld bought. It now felt like it's becoming more tropical, and it's like having more of a more island feel than just like a woodsy feel. But there is still some woodsy trees, but it's much better now. Thank you, SeaWorld. And the queue lines are incredible. Um, could use a little shade, but beggars can't be choosers, I guess.
Yeah, because we didn't notice until later. We think we were like windburned or sunburned
Yeah.
or something. It couldn't have been sun because the sun didn't really come out and get warm until like 4 to 5, right before we were leaving. I think it was windy. It was very windy there.
So anyway, then we got back in our pickup truck, or got back in our truck, right?
Yep, and headed towards Houston.
Headed towards Houston. We we were gonna we were thinking about like stopping at like, I don't remember.
We,
Insert barbecue place on the road.
yeah,
Uh,
there wasn't.
insert barbecue. Insert the name of a barbecue place on I-10. That's where we were thinking about going. Um, and then you found out that you made two hotel reservations that night.
For the first night. I didn't make one for the second night, so I'm trying to do it on my iPhone.
Oh, you. Oh, okay.
So we were looking for a barbecue place, and
Because
there wasn't one near the
the reason
hotel.
the reason why is because it's a known rule. It's just the rule. If you don't eat barbecue in Texas, Ranger will Ranger will be extremely angry, and he
Oh,
will scorn you with the fear of 10,000 water
oh,
slides.
stop it.
Hey,
He'd
hey,
probably
that's just
he'd
fact.
probably like cringe where we got our barbecue from.
Uh,
Grocery store.
Yeah, we went to a knockoff. We went to an HEB, which is kind of like a Mariano's around here. Is there an HEB around here? Okay. And they had a barbecue. They had like a barbecue place like just to the side. So we were like, okay, let's go there. Hey, when are you gonna close? Yeah, we're gonna close in about 40 minutes.
We're out of
Okay, we're
this.
gonna be there in about 10-15 minutes.
We're out of this. We're out of that. I'm like,
Yeah,
okay.
they had like I think they had advertised like Yabba Dabba Doo Fred Flintstone Dino ribs or Dino ribs. And they were out of ribs, and I think they were also out of chicken.
Hmm.
So I think I had like sausage and pulled pork, maybe?
Yeah. And,
With
and I had brisket, I
with
think.
like mac and cheese and potato salad.
Yeah, and I had potato salad and coleslaw.
Did I mention that I also tried Big Red Soda for the first time on this trip?
Me, mm, I think you did on the first day.
Okay. I'm trying to remember if I got a soda, if I got another soda.
Well, I think we had soda in the car, didn't we?
Well, not
Oh,
a.
we bought another soda and water at the grocery store.
Yeah, we bought like a liter. No, we bought 2 gallons.
1 gallon.
We bought a gallon of water, and I was like, that's a dumb idea.
I know.
And it wasn't even chilled, so that made it an even dumber idea. And I
Well, it
think
was
I
like
know.
$1.28 or something
I think.
compared to two for 250 chilled.
And I think I know who might have been okay with unchilled water because one person is not a fan of chilled water. Um,
It's good sometimes.
you later had to pay for that afterwards, right?
Yeah.
But on the bright side, the hotel that we stayed at, it was a Fairfield, right?
Hmm.
The bright side was that I had heard was that I was like, come on, please do a regular continental breakfast. And they were like, oh, well, yeah, you get a granola bar, you get an apple,
And the yogurt.
and a yogurt. And I'm like, ugh. Oh, like that's one of the biggest losses because of COVID. No more continental breakfasts and good. Um, but then the next morning when I was gonna ask like, hey, where's a nearby Taco Bell for breakfast? And then I saw like sausage and egg muffin, sausage and egg biscuit sandwiches. And I was like, huh, too bad you guys don't have this for breakfast. And she was like, we do. And I'm like, huh? When does
Okay.
breakfast start? 6 to 9? Okay, I'm gonna eat. And I was like, yay! And then I made her
Oatmeal?
apple cinnamon oatmeal, I believe. Or
No.
cinnamon sugar.
Cinnamon spice.
Sorry.
That's okay.
So
I ate
anyway,
it.
then we went to some fast food place at the Houston airport. I had a waffle burger.
Mm.
It had like it was like a regular cheese. It was like a regular burger, but it had I think egg on it, and it was served in like a waffle thing.
Waffle bun like thing?
Yeah, this was American that we flew back on, right?
Yes.
And unlike United, did not have snacks or drinks.
You can have water, coffee. They
On
had
the plane?
bags. They had bags of
On
snacks.
the plane?
Yeah.
For free?
Uh-huh. You got a small bottle of water and you got a biscotti.
That was going. That was.
No, going you got a biscotti and something else and a bottle of
Oh,
water.
okay.
So coming
But I'm
back,
like, no soda and no juice. Oh, by the way, one other thing to kind of wrap it up, the sixth guy, he didn't I didn't remember him, but he remembered me. He was like, "Hey, how was your trip in Texas?" And I was like, "Oh, man. Well, it started off with us, having to deal with concourse." And I was like, "Oh wait, you gave us the wrong car, right?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, you saved our trip. It was much roughly after we dealt with crowds in San Antonio, things got a little bit better. Thank
yep,
you."
yep.
And I told him, like, I'll make sure to mention you on my podcast. Upwards of 0 people watch this podcast. So, Sixt rental cars, SIXT, way better than Thrifty, and pay less. Rental cars are just terrible.
Yeah. We'll consider you next time.
Anyway, if you're around, or if, well, Dallas, maybe we could go to Dallas, or Amarillo, or Lubbock,
I don't know what we're
El
doing.
Paso,
I don't know what we're doing the rest of the year.
or ever. Okay, anyway, sorry for the delay. It's been a long time, but hey, when you don't go to a lot of parks, you can't really talk a lot about parks.
True.
Anyway, see ya.
Bye bye.
Deep in the heart of Texas.